Hello my fellow trucketeers. How the devil is everybody? Hope you're all well. Got a little bit of a short video for you here. Maybe a bit of a rant, maybe a bit of this, maybe a bit of that, who knows. So we're going to have a little talk. So yesterday was my very first incidence of having something happen on a smart motorway. So I was coming down the M6 southbound. I was crawling up the hill just before Stafford services, and the first axle on my trailer on the driver's side, I had a blowout, and I mean a proper blowout. This tyre went bang. So as I was climbing up the hill, I moved from lane 2 to lane 1. I checked my mirror. I moved back over, checked the mirror again, and just as I'd done that, I heard an almighty bang. I thought someone had sort of like come across the lanes and like smacked it in front of me or something. That's what it sounded. That's how loud it was. Anyway, it wasn't that, so I checked and saw like loads of dust and everything. Remember when in that wood site where the truck had a blowout in front of me? Whoa! Yeah, well, it was like that, but at 56 mile an hour on the limiter, and it was behind me. So I saw that, and I was probably about 50 metres from a refuge area, the emergency refuge areas that you get on the smart motorways. So of course I immediately indicated and pulled straight into there because I had more than enough time to slow down because I was climbing up a hill. So we pulled in there and stopped, and I assessed the problem. So we pulled in there. I opened up my door and grabbed my boots out of the step, closed my door, put my eye-vis on, and climbed out the passenger side, put my boots on, climbed down. So first thing I done, which you're told to do, is to go to the little orange emergency SOS phone that's in the refuge areas. Yeah, I'm lucky I was so close to the refuge area that I could just pull in there. Now, bearing in mind when I was in here, well, after I'd done the call and everything, I realised I was like 1/3 of a mile from Stafford services. So if that bay wasn't there, I could have potentially carried on to the services. But we'll get onto that in a second. So, but just before I picked up the phone to ring, I just poked my head round the corner and just sort of assessed the damage from the blowout. And I looked underneath the truck as well. So the blowout had caused the marker light to be taken off, the wheel arch above that wheel to be completely gone, including the metal bars that hold it on. It's taken out a part of the underrun bar, and it's also destroyed the part of the arch on the next wheel behind it. So it's done quite a considerable amount of damage and chucked quite a bit of debris across the M6 motorway. Across, I would imagine across all 4 lanes, because it didn't half go. What happened to all this debris, I don't know. Anyway, I went to the emergency SOS phone, I picked it up and rung the lady. Bearing in mind, this phone is really, really quiet. I had a hell of a job trying to hear her with all the traffic going by. I even had my finger in one ear and trying to listen on the other. And yeah, it was really difficult. They really need to make them phones louder, or the operators need to speak louder or something, because I had a job trying to hear them. I kept having to say pardon because I couldn't understand what she's saying. Anyway, she sort of asked the questions, you know, where am I, this, that and the other. Well, she sort of asked for the number that's on top of the phone, because that tells them exactly where you are. So it's like a 4-digit number and a letter. You also get marker boards on the motorways as well, which will have M6, and then it'll have A or B, which will depend whether you're going northbound or southbound. I think A is going up the junctions, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, and B is like coming back, so 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it'll have a number on the marker post at the bottom, which is pretty much where you are. So that you'll see the white and blue and red marker posts as you're driving up and down motorways and dual carriageways. Well, blue if it's on a motorway, green if it's on a dual carriageway. Anywho, I rung up. She said, has anyone been hurt? You know, are you the only person there? What's going on? This, that, and the other. So I said I had a blowout. I said I'm a bit concerned because there's a bit of debris blown across the carriageway and that, which she didn't really seem too worried about. So, I mean, most of it was a plastic arch, which, to be honest, was probably disintegrated from the explosion. It was more the metal poles I was worried about, but I couldn't see anything, and no one swerved or anything, so I assume they just went straight to the edge or something. So again, it's just a thing that's completely at my hands, and I'm definitely not going to go on the carriageway to try and recover it. It's just one of them things. Luckily there was no one next to me as the tyre went. Anyway, she said, I gave her my name, phone number and all that, reg of the vehicle and all that. That's fine. She said she might give me a call back in 20 minutes, see how we're getting on that. So she said I've got to contact my company and get the tyre sorted and whatever. So I rang up my boss, he called up the tyre fitters, and then yeah, she said I've got to sit out. So my boss called the tyre fitters and yeah, sorted all that for me, so someone was going to come out to me. We got a tracker on the vehicle, so my boss can tell him exactly where I am anyway. So upon this phone call to this lady, she also said that I'm not to sit in my vehicle, I'm also to stand behind the barrier and all that stuff. So yeah, that's fine. So luckily it was a nice day. If it was raining, I might have still sat in the cab. I'm not going to sit there and get soaked. Anyway, that's all good, whatever. The guy took the tyre off, it was completely destroyed. Now I did put a couple of shorts out about this, and I did have a couple of people say, why didn't I carry on to the services? Well, my thought process, well, two reasons for that really. One, because I didn't realise I was that close to the services that I could have carried on and probably had a bit more of a comfortable wait. And two, obviously I'd already strewn a load of debris across the motorway that doing another 300 metres to the services, the tyre potentially could have come off the rim, which a tyre in the middle of the motorway is not a good idea. So it was probably safer for me to pull into the refuge area straight away. Probably not as safe for the guy to change my tyre, but safer for everyone else using the motorway to not then have a tyre stranded in the middle of lane 1, 2, 3 or 4. So that was sort of my thought process, so I pulled in there and that was that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the guy came out, changed my tyre, that was all good. He went on, and I sort of said to him, I said, I need to call them before I can go, don't I? And he sort of said, yeah, it's probably best to. So he went on, that was fine, he'd done what he had to do, that's his own well-being, that's fine. So I rung up, I then picked up the SOS phone again, and I rung the matey, and I said, alright then pal, I'm in the refuge area, I've just had my tyre fitted and I'm ready to go. And he's like, yep, you're all good to go. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, don't you have to stop lane 1 or something? And he said, no, he said, just go if it's safe to go, do so. But if you do have any problems, give me a call back on the phone, and then we'll put in a, I think he said a lane divert or something. So I was like, okay, right, okay. I thought it's not too quiet, so I'll try and pull out. It was a little bit, the traffic wasn't too bad so far. I'll give it a go. Anyway, I sort of got in the truck and then went to go pull away. There was a couple of vehicles on my lane. Now, I don't know whether they put a lane divert on or anything. I always thought that they were supposed to shut lane 1 to give you time to pull out. Bearing in mind, I had 20-ton load on, so I was 36 ton at a time. Trying to pull away uphill out of a refuge area. So, you know how short these refuge areas are. I probably joined the carriageway at best 10 mile an hour. And they're not going to close lane 1 for that. I left. It was safe enough to do so. Another truck further down saw me pulling out, he moved over, and I got up and gone, and we got out safely, not a problem. I immediately pulled into Stafford services after that, and then just double checked all the damage and I make sure nothing's dangling down, hanging off, nothing's going to come off loose or anything like that. So I effectively made sure everything was safe. So all the damage that's there is going to be repaired when the truck gets back to the workshop in the yard. So there's nothing that's going to cause any problems now. So that was my main concern. But I was always under the false pretension they were supposed to shut lane 1. Now, today I've done a little bit of research and I've had a look at a couple of things, and apparently they used to shut lane 1 to allow you to pull out of a refuge area. But as far as I can see now, they've changed policy that now they will just put on a lane divert. So instead of having a red X on the motorway to stop you, they no longer do that. they only put on a lane divert, which is an arrow just telling people to get over. Yeah, so in my experiences, those arrows telling people to move over from lane 1 to lane 2 or whatever, a lot of people don't pay attention to them, because that's just, would you mind moving over, not a red X where it's saying you have to move over. Because a lot of the times, if there is a lane closure, people will stay in that lane right up until the red X and then move over. So a lane divert, as far as I can see, is not safe enough for us to pull out, especially in an HGV. I mean, it's not too bad for me. I've got 45 foot of trailer between me and whatever hits the back of me. So if I pull out at 10 mile an hour and then someone moves back over to lane 1 without looking and plows into the back of me, is that then my fault? Is that the person that drove into me's fault? Or is that highways for not closing the motorway? Well, not closing lane 1. So, you know, there's a massive safety concern here. As far as I'm concerned, on a refuge area, you need lane 1 shut to be able, especially in a truck, to be able to build up speed. This is why I hate smart motorways, because a hard shoulder was brilliant, because you have all the room in the world in front of you to build up speed, to carriageway speed, and then join the carriageway. That's what a hard shoulder's for. It's for you to pull over if you have an emergency, and then when your emergency's sorted, you can get on your way. You can build your speed up on the hard shoulder, up to 56 or 70 if you're in a car or a van or whatever, and then join at motorway speeds, so you're not going to have anyone ploughing to the back of you. But the refuge area doesn't give you the room to do that. So you're going from a dead stop. So, you know, in my car, perfectly fine. I've got the confidence to put my foot down and go. But what about some old lady in that? She might not be capable enough to put her foot down and get through the gears quick enough to get up to that sort of speed. Or her eyes might not be as good and she might not see anyone coming up behind her when she pulls away. So yeah, National Highways really need to sort this out. They need to do something. You need to stop traffic in lane 1 before a refuge area to allow vehicles to pull out. It is not safe to do so otherwise, unless it's like middle of the night, but even then someone might not see you pulling out. Yeah, so regardless of time of day or how busy or how quiet the motorway is, yeah, they need to red X lane 1 just before the refuge area, because someone's going to get killed, I think. That's definitely going to happen. Smart motorways are a big mistake and a big waste of money. They should have never done it. Should have just kept the hard shoulder, or make a 4th lane and keep another hard shoulder on it. Should have never got rid of hard shoulders at all. That's another point I want to add, actually. If that's the case, where they no longer shut off lane 1, obviously that is a big safety concern. How long until these road workers, as in people to come out, fix your car, recover your car, do your tyres, start refusing to send their staff out to these refuge areas because it's no longer safe for their workers to work? You know, if they got to tow someone else's vehicle out of that one of them refuge areas to get somewhere safe, and they're not going to shut lane 1 to allow these vehicles to pull out, you know, that's putting him and their customers at risk. It's silly. It's really silly. Someone's going to get seriously hurt, but like I said, how long until these companies refuse it? And then people are just going to be stranded in these refuge areas until something's done, because companies just turn around and be like, no, we're not going there anymore. It's not safe for my staff. I can see that becoming a thing. I really can. Because even a van towing a car, it's not going to accelerate quickly, and it doesn't have the room to get up to speed. Absolutely daft. Right, that's my little piece on this. So take it easy, look after yourselves, drive safely. Thanks for trucking around with Jono. I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Take it easy. Bye.